Yes, I'm young, but there are other leaders in this world that have been young when they've taken the torch. They've taken a leadership role. They've moved. You look at the Martin Luther Kings, John F. Kennedys. You look at all these young men that have taken us in a direction in the direction that we need to go in. I majored in elementary education. I wanted to be a teacher, and I still do want to be a teacher. And when I got elected to the National Education Association, I began to be interested in politics. And once that legislation was passed through Congress, it shocked me, but I knew that we could do it. But when that legislation passed and I saw the impact that it had on millions of people around the country, it was at that point that I said that as an educator, I can change the life of one child at a time. But as a leader, a public servant, or in a political position, I can change the lives of millions, the lives of a stroke of an ink pen. The things that I gripe about as a general citizen, politicians have the power to change it. So I believe that being in the driver's seat, being in a position of power, and the things that I see and hear at the grassroots level, I'm able to do something about them. Now, I can't do anything about them as a regular citizen. Yes, I have power. I have power as a citizen, but I have greater power as a policymaker. It was 3 months ago that I met this woman at Star Market in 5 Points, and she got up to the counter to get 3 prescriptions filled. And she got up to the counter and she can only afford to get one, pay for one of them. I met this gentleman at the oil lube place in North Parkway near the Walmart that said that he was paying $80 a week in health insurance, but he was only grossing $450 every 2 weeks. I look at the high school dropout rate. There's 6,829 students that drop out of school every day. Nobody's standing up, stepping up and saying anything about it or doing anything about it. And here in Madison County, we have one of the highest in the state of Alabama. The state of Alabama highest counties in the state of Alabama, but Alabama has one of the highest high school dropout rates in the country. I'm running because of this young people that's qualified to go to college, that want to go to college, but parents can't afford to send them because of the high cost of a college education. There's no one fighting for these people. There's no one fighting for their interests. So that is why I'm running for Alabama State Senate. Well, as I indicated, I work with both Democrat and Republicans. My issues are issues of the people. I think that with my previous relationships in Washington and working with members across the aisle and members of Congress across the aisle, working with groups that were both Democrat and Republican, I think that I can use the same methods that I use there in Washington, D.C. by uniting around issues. Yes, I've heard stories of the Alabama Senate being dysfunctional, but sitting down and actually talking about the issues and uniting around an issue and getting individuals to look past their personal interests and their party beliefs and looking at what is it that we could do as a body to move the state of Alabama in the direction that it needs to move. You know, let's put all this party stuff to the side. How can we, there are concerns about this high school dropout rate. How can we as a body address those issues? How can we as a body address our education crisis of higher education, funding for higher education? How can we address the issues of teachers being paid? Everybody knows that. Everybody wants teachers to be paid, but there's no one that's saying, hey, I'm willing to step up and step out and do something about it. You have to bring the group together. Yeah, they caucus. The groups caucus with each other. But at some point, we're going to have to reach common ground on a lot of issues. Because as long as we're fighting, as long as we're working separate, nothing will never get done. Like, we have a Republican governor. We have a majority Democratic Senate and House. How can we work together? How can we work together on issues that could move the state. We have to unite at some point. And I just believe that I'll be able to bring that to the Alabama State Senate because my ideas are very, very different, but they make sense. The most important thing is the ideas that I have is for the best interest of the state of Alabama, not the best interest of the Democratic Party, not the best interest of the Republican Party, but the citizens of the state of Alabama. I'll be doing a weekly update where I'll sit in front of a camera and basically talk to the community about certain issues. Next week I may talk about education. The next week I may talk about, transportation or healthcare or the environmental issues. Based on the responses that I receive from my website, that will cater my message, meaning that on my website now, I have a link that say, tell me your story. Based on what community members say and analyzing those responses, or they have any questions or concern, I will respond to those questions on camera. And this is the openness that I will have if elected to the Alabama State Senate. Before I cast a vote on a particular issue, I will come to my district and actually hold a press conference or town hall stating why I'm going to vote this particular way, why I feel that this is the best thing for Madison County. So I want to be very open, very honest. I know that I believe in accountability. I believe in accountability, and I believe that everyone should be held accountable for his or her actions. And that's something that I want to bring. I want to bring openness. I've never been in politics before. I've been around politics in Washington the last 2 years, but I just believe at this point we have to have some accountability and we have to regain the trust of the public. And I think being open and honest and responding to questions, not dancing around questions, but directly addressing questions based on the community and the questions from the community. And I stand firmly on every issue that I'm not going to dance in between the lines. If I feel a certain way about a certain issue, I will articulate that to the public, and I will tell them I will stand on that. I'm open for discussion, but I just want to make sure that the citizens understand that I will respond or talk about the issues directly, and I will never mislead them or be dishonest.